Right, I clicked it. Welcome.
Yay, we are live. Awesome.
Live.
I mean, I just have to. Good morning and afternoon, Keller Williams.
There was no distortion then, none at all. Oh, yeah, it's a very good morning in Utah. Definitely. It's not so good morning here. It's good in Abend. So Brett's playing around with his stuff instead of concentrating on what he's doing, which is just, come on, Brett.
Turning off the TV. He's like,
Yeah,
turn that off.
He's got his Rodecaster studio set up. He's got his boxes in the background. The white model Rodecaster boxes, I have to say, which are exceptionally special. And he's got them.
They're pretty.
Yeah, are they new, Brett? Is that new?
Yeah, and actually the Rodecaster Pro 2 that I use here in the studio, that actually just came out in the white version too.
So we're not sponsored by Rodecaster, but we might as well be.
If you would like to, Rode, I have spent ungodly amounts of money on your equipment that my wife knows nothing about. And if you want to like kick something back, that'd be awesome.
We have the red Keller Williams Special Edition Rode mics.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all good.
So
and I have the AirPods. I brought my gaming.
So not only is this a special show because we have the amazing Kimber Walton with us as our special guest today, but Kimber, this is our 20th episode. Yeah, you get to be a part of that history.
Where's the balloons?
This will be in the next MREA or some book that comes out. I don't know. But anyway, so, I mean, really, just to get to it, you're about to glow us up, right?
There you go.
So, Kimber, talk to us. What are we doing today?
What did we talk about last episode? I'd like to first of all know what we're talking about on this.
Oh, so last episode
of Labs.
On the last episode, Peter actually set up a very cool meeting with the product developer from or product specialist. He's like head of one of the product lines at HeyGen, which is one of the AI tools that we use. And it kind of leads right into this because he was showing us, his name's Kevin, right? Kevin Huang,
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And he showed us a new video avatar for personalized email that uses mail merge features and everything, so that very much like BombBomb, but on a much better level, you can do personalized emails with video avatars of yourself.
That is cool.
It's awesome. It is. It's very cool.
Amazing. So we are learning, I think, I've seen other episodes. In Labs Advisors Live, usually there is a big emphasis on products that you can use as an agent to get more business, further your business. We talk a lot about Command because that is our primary product at Keller Williams. And every now and then, I personally love to talk about what we call the theory of whatever we're talking about. So I definitely feel like today is going to lean more to the theory of email, meaning we're not going to be opening up Command, going through, here is the awesome new email editor, and here's how you go plug all of these in. Today, you're going to cement your relationship with email being a powerful tool. And I like to throw in the online presence feature because I have some dissenters out there, and maybe I even have a dissenter on this call, but there are dissenters that go, email's old, it's outdated, who cares? Like, it's all about TikTok, Reels, who knows? They fill in any of the things. And email has a place, and so I am going to talk about that today. So we're going to talk a lot about the theory of email. Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to start with this video because I love adding context to what I am going to be teaching on. So the video that I'm going to show you is just a quick couple-minute clip. It is from Amy Porterfield, and Ed Milet is interviewing her. So if you've never heard of these two individuals, I'm most likely you've heard of Ed Milet. He's come to he's come to one KW event. But he's interviewing Amy Porterfield. So quick story on her background. She was a top level person in Tony Robbins' organization. In all of those big meetings, she was growing up or moving up the corporate ladder and decided to go out on her own and build basically the content business that she has built that is, multi-million-dollar business now. And she is talking to Ed Milet in this episode that she's on his podcast about email and building an email list. And so no better person to hear it from than a professional that's done it. So let's start with that. Give me 2 seconds because this is my first rodeo when it comes to sharing screen. So I believe you can see that. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to go push play and we're just going to watch this for a minute. I'll make it full screen. Okay.
But one of the things you're obsessed with doing that, let me just tell you before she teaches this, she is 1,000,000% right. And that is that you got to be focused on building your email list.
Thank you. I'm so glad we're going to talk about it.
So please, it's the number one thing I missed.
Yes.
Number one dumbass thing I did.
Oh, sorry for the swear.
The key, and you're the really, most people don't put these in books. It's like a secret in the business, but you did. So talk about it.
And I think most people don't put it in the books because it's not sexy.
You're right.
People do not want to do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell you all a secret that if you do this, your competitors likely will not.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that is building an email list, getting names and emails into a software and using that list. So I've got some stories for you on this one. The $267 failed launch is because I had a tiny email list that I never nurtured. There was nobody to market to. Now, people listening might say, but social media, you could use social media. Do not build your business on rented land. Rented land is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that they change their algorithms tomorrow and boom, you're changed. Elon buys Twitter and you don't like the way he's doing it anymore and you relied on Twitter for your business, you're screwed.
Yes.
And so that's why I love social media, but I'm never going to bank everything on it. Absolutely not.
Who were you? Keep going.
I wish that my biggest regret in my business, I say this all the time, is I waited 2 years to start growing that email list.
Me too.
And that's why it was so hard, right?
Number one regret of my whole business career.
Same. So
guys,
anyone listening, yes, the best time to grow an email list was yesterday. The best next time is today. Here's the thing. About a year ago, Facebook and Instagram went down. Do you remember the day it went down for hours and hours and hours?
Okay. It was actually a great day for me in the sense that I was like, oh my gosh, my life is so good right now.
Isn't that so sad but true?
It is.
Yes,
but go ahead.
I felt the same way.
Yes.
So that day, Instagram and Facebook went down. It was a coincidence that morning, I sent an email list to a very small portion of my list for a digital course I've had for years. It was a $400 digital course. I had it for years, but I wanted to kind of get it out back to my audience and remind them that it's waiting for them if they want it. So I sent this email to a small portion of the group, and hours in, we made $18,000 on the day that Facebook and Instagram went down. Imagine if I thought I could just rely on them that day. I couldn't. And so I have a dad that is blue collar to the bone. He's a firefighter, retired firefighter, does not get this online world. If you ask my dad what I did, I'd be mortified to hear what he said. I have no idea what he would
come across very silly.
Very weird, yes.
His description.
So true. And when I left my corporate job, he was very worried that his baby girl was not going to be able to survive and make enough money.
Imagine.
And I told him many years ago, Dad, if I have an email list, I will always be able to make money. That's the only thing I knew to tell him. So he didn't understand an email list. I let him know. And I said, as long as my email list grows, I will always be able to make money. Every time he calls me on Sunday, how's your email list?
Does he really?
Like,
so that part of it he knows.
He gets that. He gets that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is life-changing and business-changing.
It's the number one thing. It's the number one thing. Okay, I've had 400 shows. No one's ever said it on here. It's the number one thing. It is. I love what you said about rented real estate. I love that, my average post is shown to 3% of my following.
Yes.
And it's like, I got to hope they're there when it's there at the time.
Yep.
You're let me tell you when I discovered it, when my book came out. So I've been in the space this long.
Okay, talk to me about that.
So everybody's like, okay, brother. So, and by the way, it's the number one book on the planet.
Huge.
However, it'd have been way bigger had I been focused on building. I've got millions of social media followers. I got a podcast that gets millions of downloads. And people are like, so what about your, I'm like, email list. should I have been doing that? They're like, you're kidding, right? Like, you're one of the biggest dudes in the whole space. You're kidding me that you have not done this. And I'm like, well, not really.
I didn't know that.
Here's how bad I was. When you would come to my website and you would opt into particular parts of my website, I still didn't add you to my email list I got your emails. Don't laugh at me. So it's my business strategy. I got the content stuff down. My business strategy right now is grow my email list. So I don't care if you have 2 emails, you need to grow it to 40. 40, you got to grow it to 2,000. 2,000, grow it to 5,000. So here's how does someone do that?
Yes.
What could they be doing? So they're going to use social to grow an email list potentially, right? So what are some strategies to grow an email list?
Okay. I want to back up and say that an email list converts 4 times better than a social media post. It's hands down.
At least.
Okay. So you guys get the point. Let me quickly remove this so I'm doing the correct thing. Are we back? It's the us 3.
Good.
It's just us. It's just us 3.
Yep.
Okay. Tell me your ahas from just that little snippet. Honestly, I could sit and watch the rest of that for 5 more minutes, but that's not why we're here.
So I will tell you, like, this is something that I'm actually doing, right? Another business that I'm doing since I've left an MCTT role. And that email list is very, very important. I follow YouTubers like Pat Flynn and Think Media with Sean Cannell. All of them talk about how important that email list is. And as a follower of them, I'm a recipient of all those emails. So I see what I need to do so that I'm nurturing that list. And I think the connection here is that agents don't realize how important that is because they look at real estate as a totally separate world. And like you said, Kimber, they think of email as kind of old techniques or old habits, right? And email is absolutely vital. Lori Ballin, somebody who's in our Keller Williams system, and I've been, a fanboy of hers for years, since like 2012 or 13, whenever it was. And her email list is everything for her businesses as well.
I love that. And yes, she is a headliner, and that's putting it lightly, right? Based on her volume that I've seen.
Yeah.
So today, that's why we're talking about that. Back to the MREA, right? I always like to bring it back to the MREA, the original 33 touch, and even now a little bit revised 36 touch. 26 of the 36 touches are biweekly emails. So 2/3 of your 36 touches emails. So all of us 3 that are on this, hosting this, have been in market center leadership at one point. Right. And so we have all experienced it. And I might be talking to somebody in market center leadership that's watching. How many times do you walk by an agent that's the busy bees in the office saying, I need to implement my 36 touch. I need to start doing that. That's something, it's like on the to-do list. Well, getting an email strategy in place, you've got 2/3 of your 36 touch going.
Yeah.
The other 4 is the prospecting.
Yep. We have at least one leader watching us, Kimber. That's my former team leader at my old office, David. Hi, David. Thanks for being with us. And he's now in a coaching and MCTT role in the North Florida region in Englewood. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I figured I'd throw that leader up there that's watching too while you're talking about this.
Yeah, so I'm going to open up my presentation so we can kind of dive into that. But if you are a KW agent or leader, and the why do I need to listen to this? It's that every single agent that wants to be successful in real estate needs a consistent 36 touch. And this is the bulk of that. So that's your why. That's why you need to listen to us 3 for the next little bit. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So this is why email. You're not relying on social media. I know Amy had talked about that. Competing against the Explorer page, an algorithm, millions in ad spend. We're going to talk about dollars and cents spend on your return on investment in a minute with email, but that is definitely a piece of this. When your audience trusts that your emails bring value, they look forward to and can't wait to open them. 2 words, top of mind and credibility. That is not to be understated. The reason why, I promise you, I have not had the honor to meet Gary Keller in person, and him writing that book and putting in that many emails, he didn't put that many emails in the 36 Touch as a model to say, you know what, emails are going to change lives. They're going to bring on, everyone's going to want to sell their house as soon as they get the email. The model behind that is the consistency that every 14 days, someone is getting an email that says Brett Bishop, Brett Bishop Real Estate. That brand is showing up, right? That number is the frequency, and the consistency is why you send 26 emails a year. It's no other reason. The content's going to be great. We're going to talk about content and ways you can have strong call to actions and MOFers, but it's also not at the baseline of why we do email. And then another fundamental, when people know, like, and trust you, they're infinitely more likely to buy from you, which is called dependable revenue, which is why when we are looking at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent and we're talking about if you have a certain number of deals and you divide it by the opportunity for conversion, there is a number that if you have in your database and you reach out to them 36 times a year, then you can expect to hit that goal.
It's why your sphere of influence is so important, right? As one of the first people in leadership that would see new agents, I can't tell you how many times a new agent would say that I don't want to let the people that I know that I'm doing real estate. And it's something I've never been able to grasp. One of them was actually somebody who came out of the timeshare market. So his database was ginormous and he didn't want to tap that resource. And you know what happened? He was out of the business very shortly, unfortunately.
Yep.
The sphere of influence is everything. Social media is great to grab a new audience, right? And I think I'm kind of experiencing it right now in the fact that I was blessed. My wife and I did quite a bit of business this month, and I put those posts out there, and then your friends and family kind of take notice. So it is good for your sphere of influence, but really social media is a way to garner attention from new people you don't know.
Yep. Yeah. And if you hang out with me long enough, you'll realize I preach two things probably to an annoying point. It's and not or.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I'm not telling you right now, choose this. Don't do this. It's definitely an and marketing layering is not to be understated. Reinforcing your message is how you convert. If you're just doing one thing, saying one message and having it on one platform, that's not the recipe for converting. However, if you're talking about your event on your social media, hey, I have this awesome event at the local water park. I would love to get your RSVP. We host this every month or every year as our thanks to you for your continued loyalty to our business. We'd love to see you there. Oh, by the way, they got the email that day that has the link to register, right? So right. I'm not going to rely on getting a bunch of DMs to get those RSVPs.
Exactly.
And I might get a decent amount of RSVPs just from social. So yes, amen to what you just said. So this is the dollars and cents on it. $42 for every dollar is your ROI for an email, compared to Instagram, $3.50. Return on TikTok, $2.60. The only people that would refute this slide are people that have millions of followers and really are getting paid ad money and not necessarily getting business from their sphere.
Right. They're
right?
actually
influencers.
They're getting the revenue from the platform and not from their real estate business because they're getting new buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm. And at Keller Williams, man, there's one thing we're consistent about. We're here to do real estate. We're here to sell real estate. I love Gary Keller. Like, someone has to sell the real estate.
Right.
That's one of my favorite quotes. Yeah. So that's the point. That's the reason why email is important. Oops. Okay. So this is kind of funny, but no algorithm, no ad spend, no roadblocks, no pants. Meaning you can do all of this without being out there in front of people. The COVID, right? The COVID model that we had when we would all just be at our house and we could be in our pajamas and lead generate. This can all be done without all of these things in the way. So this is why I love email.
I love that slide. Pants totally get in my way.
Yeah, no pants. I one of our fellow labs advisors, Jason Flynn, I sent him this slide deck and he also was like, we need to have a class that's just about like, hey, lead generate in your pajamas. We're figuring out the title. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna drop a truth bomb. Is everybody ready? It doesn't matter how pretty your emails look, how valuable your emails are, how great the offer is in your email. This mofer was like, this was top shelf. Like, it was the best. It doesn't matter if no one reads them.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. They got to open them up. Now, that sparks a question, and maybe you're going to get to it. So you can stop me if you are.
Yeah.
Is there text versus HTML email? Is there a preference? I mean, when you talk, because every agent wants to have a very pretty looking email.
Yes. So here's the unfiltered answer. I think I have heard an argument for either, and usually the argument is based on what the commitment of time an agent is willing to put into it. Let me say that differently. If an agent does not have the tools and the resources, the marketing team, with Keller Williams, we have things that are already available to us, then we'll make a solid argument for the fact that simple emails are just real, real great. And it's more,
as long as you're doing it, right?
Yes. I think that argument is definitely created, though, in the sense of we don't have the right tool to do that. So this is better than nothing. And I can get on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I would be here as somebody that is obviously employed with KW, a big advocate of the tools that we provide. That's what's cool about things like Command and the content that we have in it is that we don't have to pick or choose. Right. So I'm always going to pick the visual because I am on the team that how I present myself is I am showing you who I am and that you can trust me and that I care. And I translate into the content that I put out is a way I tell that story. So that's why I care so much about aesthetic and the presentation overall. And you can totally get away with it. If you show up and you show up consistently, and you show up in front of the right amount of people, I think you'll still get the same result. I just always have that. I'm building my brand on the back end in the back of my mind.
Right. I think the presentation helps a lot too in the delivery and the enticing the reader because as someone who absolutely despises reading, if I like even a meme, if somebody's social post is too long, unless they're like a close friend, I'm not reading it.
No way. And if you have like the little, like the emoji that has the finger point and you have the 5 points with the emoji next to them, I might read the 5 points.
Exactly. Yeah. So little things like that though go a long way to help with that stuff, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. So like, what do I send? Okay. I believe you, Kimber. I think emails are amazing. So now what do I need to send? We overcomplicate this whole entire process. That's why if you have never heard of me and you're like, who is this blonde girl that Peter and Brett brought to this Labs Advisors episode? I am very passionate about creating content that makes it easier for agents to run the plays in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book so that they can earn more. And that is why these things are really the core fundamental things that you need to be doing. And this is why I try to make it easier to do this for agents, because if it's not already done and created, it's almost like, I like to use metaphors. It's the example of the spouse or the kid that comes into the kitchen and they are just like, what do we eat? What is there to eat in this house? Like, I don't know what to eat. And they just stand in front of the pantry. If you have this amazing, awesome dinner that you've created, they're not going to sit there in front of the pantry, like staring, complaining. They're just going to be like, thanks for dinner. And they have the dinner and then they get fed. So I think the KW, we have all of these tools where we don't have to stare in front of the pantry, because frankly, staring in front of the pantry time is time away from prospecting.
Right.
And this is a prospecting based marketing enhanced industry.
Mm-hmm.
So newsletter. Kimber, what's in an, tell me all the little details. It needs to be hyper local and as applicable as possible to your general sphere. So I actually help agents do newsletters a lot, and I will tell you the hyper local is the most important thing. And yet, if you have your sphere is primarily a certain group, very like family heavy or not family heavy, I think adding in things that are applicable to the group that you're sending things is always smart, because it just makes people feel like you know them, that they're seen, that they're heard, and then obviously that you've given them something that they actually care about. So if all of my newsletters have just all the splash pads that are open, all the cool things you can do with your kids in the summer, and most of my database doesn't have small children under the age of 12, then I'm not really intentional about the hyperlocal or the curated content, I guess you could say.
Right. Yeah, good point. Know your audience, right? With
yes.
anything. Yep.
Yeah. So first step is just being hyperlocal. People are going to care, right? If you send me information on a city that I've never been to, that I don't live in, I don't care about that they are going to put in a 12-story building that's going to block the view of the sun, that kind of stuff. Like a lot of our top agents, I've heard this on stages all the time, like be the mayor of your town. That's what a newsletter is for.
Yep.
Pro tips, neighborhood guides, all of that. I love including that in emails, like what you need to know about fill in the blank city. Give your best tips away for free. This is where you will, if you have a scarcity mindset, you will check yourself, right? When you create content, when you have amazing tips as an agent, it can be, if you have that mindset where you just want to be like, well, I have all this info and I'm just going to tuck it away. And if someone works with me, they're lucky enough to get it. And yet you'll never get them to work with you unless you can show the biggest, most high level things for free. That will cast the net, and then they will get all of those benefits because they've hired you to be their fiduciary, to represent them.
Yeah.
So
Don't hold
back. Yes.
Yeah.
And then curate what you find interesting. So how I would run that play when I'm talking about an email, right? So if I have something like morning brew or something that's not obviously not politically based, but more just like, here are these things. Here's the new latest and greatest. You guys probably are subscribed to so many things that teach us what's going on with AI. Will all of your clients have access to that as well? A really good email is taking something that is out there and helping people decipher it, break down. This is what that means. Okay, we have this. This is what this means. This is how you could apply this. That will allow you to connect with somebody. And really, it's easy content, in my opinion, because you're just taking something that someone's already put out there, and then you're just like, let's break this down. The video equivalent to that would be having a green screen and showing something and then saying, here's what I think about this. But email is a little bit different.
Which I was going to comment on. That is not a green screen behind you. That is a gorgeous real office behind you.
Nothing but the best at KW Salt Lake City,
Right.
Keller Williams Real Estate. That is our DBA. It is the longest one in Keller Williams. I'm pretty sure. Yes. And look at all those cappers on the back wall. Yes.
I could tell that's what that was. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so newsletter, we just talked about that. I just showed you some screenshots of newsletters that I've made in the past. Again, this is where maybe I'd answer your question, Brett. Do you want a simple email or do you want something that just looks a little bit better? This is why I'm on team looks a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so lining out events that are going on in the area, again, branding it, testimonials, sharing testimonials. With consumer app, I'm big about, I like to have a graphic if I'm sharing my consumer app with my clients, just because people have every app at their fingertips. They can download whatever app they want. I like to show them some visuals so they quickly look at it and go, wow, that's a lot like fill in the blank app that I already use for home search. I'll download Brett's app. So showing people visuals is really good.
Yeah, this can open up opportunities with vendors too, right? To add to like a marketing budget if you want to do client events throughout the year and things like that. If you have a healthy newsletter like this and a great email list like we talked about, then I would imagine you'd have vendors wanting to line up to be included in it.
Yes, that would probably be the fifth little screenshot on here that we should include. Any of your preferred vendors that co-op with you on events, you could say, I send 2 newsletters a month. Every month I highlight one preferred vendor. So you would be in front of this fill in the blank number in your database, people, and it would link back to your website or to a specific link that you would want people to sign up to for your service. Yeah, that would be the script I would use on that. It's a good idea. Okay, so we're going to deep dive into actual examples, things that I would use as far as free resources. So I grabbed these from a few different resources, but you can go fill in the blank of your city. So Staging That Sells, for sale by owner guide. I was actually sent that from another agent. So I didn't like create that content originally, but I thought that is another non-scarcity mindset, great idea for content. What if you tell somebody, here, I'll help you learn how to sell your house by yourself? What is going to be the result of teaching them how to sell their house by themselves? They're gonna realize it's really hard to sell your house by yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's say they luck out and they are able to sell it to themselves and they tell somebody that they got the information from this awesome realtor.
Yes.
Right? It's a win-win.
Because FSBOs, they're kind of both heels in the ground anyways, right? So it's gonna take like getting to like I get you for them to even budge all anyways. So that's why I like that strategy. Ultimate guide to living in fill in the blank city. What goes into pricing a property? Let's just hone in on that one. Teaching your clients what goes into what you do. So there's a dissenting opinion that someone would say, well, why are you teaching everybody to just do what you're doing? The other side of that coin is you're consistently showing people how much you know and how much goes into what representation from Brett Bishop means.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just some ideas.
You're demonstrating that you're the expert in real estate in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So this one I'm going to go a little bit deeper on because I think it is a missed opportunity. So this is an actual agent in my Salt Lake City office. And so I'm just going to go through, this is real life. He's on our ALC. He's a top agent. So having on your website some type of thing, again, that is a capture, and it linking back to content. So this is kind of where we're going to jump over to online presence, but we're going to add this into our email because it's not and, or it's not or, it's and with me, right?
Right.
So this agent, his primary focus, 80% of his business is currently coming from that real estate planner community, right? People that are estate, probate. He's constantly doing like lunch and learns. So that's his primary source of business right now. It hasn't been historically, but he's like, it's been fun to see it shift, right? So he's doing a total rebrand and everything. So he has a guide to probate, right? So again, that'd be the non-scarcity. I have something, I can put it in my email. And I can also have a capture on my website that once someone puts in their info, then they download the guide. So first and foremost, this is the Amy Porterfield play of if you have 40 people in your email list right now, and somebody really smart in your market center told you at over 201 contacts is when your GCI is going to tailspin up from 100,000 GCI. So that's your goal. And you don't have that many people in your database, or maybe you have the people, but you don't have the emails. This is a good way to capture more people into your email list. Why would I want to give you my email? What's in it for me? Here's an example.
Well, as tech trainers too, it's where we've seen the mistakes so often, like this whole thing with landing pages, right? Why are you creating a landing page? Because why are you sending them there? And it's why you choose the Facebook lead capture versus landing page lead capture, because you can't ask them for their information if you haven't given them anything.
I think you just said something that is so important. If you are someone that is helping or consulting an agent, it doesn't even have to be a tech trainer, but if someone comes to you and says something like that, that's a perfect example. I need your help creating your landing page. The first response isn't you going like, okay, let's go create your landing page. So you click there, you click here, you click here. I am going to say, I would love to help you. What are you using that landing page for?
Right. What's the goal?
And yes, what's the goal? And from there, making sure that it is set up to hit that goal. I will tell you 90% of the time when I ask that question, there was an aha that we didn't really know why we were doing it. Exactly. So then you get to add even more value to say, okay, we're going to go create this landing page. And this landing page isn't just so we can check a box of look at this pretty listing. We're going to have other features. It's going to be able to take care of this. It's going to be able to capture any additional leads. And we're going to have a separate page that's dedicated to that property that's linked on our social.
Right. For a very specific purpose. If I just want to send, like, if I wanted to add video and stuff like that, then yes, there's a reason for it. But again, what's the goal? Because a lot of times, just that property page on your website is all you need, and there's nothing to create. It's already there for you. In my opinion, 99% of the time, the only thing that you need a landing page for is a reverse bold 100 or something like that, where you're doing some kind of giveaway or registration or something. Yeah. So, all right. Sorry, tangent.
Yeah. So that's just an example. 22 times or messages delivered as stories. So we're going to kind of pivot now to like, here's how we create the email. And anything that's put together and curated more as a story is 22 times, I don't know why that's hard for me, more effective and more memorable than facts. So this is the check that I have with all of you. Are you just really good at forwarding information, forwarding on, this is great, right? Oh, look at this cool article from Morning Brew. Forward. Well, guess what? Everyone else forwards me stuff too. Most of the people in your database, right? They have jobs as well. So they're getting it from their employer side as well. And what does it look like if you create a little bit more, obviously what they're looking for, but creating more engaging content? There is, I guess, a thought process around the, it's harder to track, which I hate because I kind of like to know, like, what am I doing? Does it have a result? And I think the way you can track, if you just quickly putting yourself out there in a 2-paragraph, here's what I thought about that. I think you will start to see that the open rate starts to change with your emails. Because it's not just Brett Bishop sharing like podcast room, like, here you go, here's the links, like all the cute little buttons that have links, and that's great and that's clear. Right. And showing like the market center that you in and created the podcast room. And we've had 5 agents that have been able to increase their social following by X amount because they are in here creating content. Then I'm like, how do I hire Brett Bishop?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because, what's the success story behind the creation of that space? Mm-hmm. Right? Or was it just a colossal waste of money that everybody thought was a good idea and nobody uses?
Yeah. Yep. My tangent would be, again, because you know my themes, and I see all of you tell stories on social media. It's easy to tell stories on stories. There's an actual feature called stories. And put it on your email too.
Yeah.
Because there's a group that's going to pay attention to that. Also, you went in and typed that. You can literally copy and paste that caption, paste it into your favorite AI and say, can you take this story and recreate it into a 4-paragraph email with bullet points?
Brilliant. Just repurpose what you've already done. It saves time, saves money, and reaches a broader audience.
Okay, so I'm going to skip over a couple of the story things just because I want to get to some of the other things with email. Okay, so find your email North Star. So your first task is to try and figure out what works for you. Gary V, it's the Gary name. It's a solid name. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary Keller. He has a bunch of quotes, but one of his quotes that's my favorite is, authenticity is one of the best indicators of longevity. And I think all of us need to just triple check on the communication that we have going to our sphere, right? We know the intention is we're building trust. We're letting them know us. We're letting them know our value. And we haven't really put all those pieces together to be like, but I, as long as I'm Brett in all of those strategies, then it's going to be fine. I'm going to be able to like go the distance. I'm not going to get out of the business after a year. As long as I can add authenticity into what I'm doing, then I can stay the course. I honestly think, because I teach Ignite every single month. I've taught Ignite every single month for the last, I think, 2 years. And so I see it. I see it in those new agents' eyes. A lot of them just subscribe to, someone told me to do this and I did it and I burned out and it was too hard. And then they go back to the 9 to 5 that they so valiantly got out of because they wanted to get into real estate. It is because they didn't figure out a way to be authentic while running the model.
Yeah, that's a powerful point right there.
So you can say find your email North Star, but maybe we should just all be finding our actual North Star.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this, if I have to acknowledge that I'm saying some of this, and a lot of people are like, this is a lot of creation. The person that's telling me to do this is someone that actually loves to market and is a broadcast journalism major and loves a good story and crafting an experience into a story to achieve a result.
Mhm.
I'm not that person. I just like to be on the phone and dial and all of that. And depending on where you're at in your leverage journey, of if you're earning enough to have the leverage to just hire somebody to do this, I think leaning into the tools that we have at KW already is a great place to start.
Right.
Because at least you have a monthly newsletter that's real estate specific. You can send them market data easily through a system like just through our neighborhood nurture. And then your calls can be at least they're just a little less awkward because you sent 2 emails. You didn't go create them, but you at least sent 2 emails. So you calling 4 times a year isn't like, who?
Yeah.
Because Brett Bishop's showing up every 14 days.
Yeah.
If what we're talking about today is stage 2, stage 3, then that's fine. But I like to teach it all, especially even to Ignite students, so they understand how important it is at the beginning. And then if they need to just lean into our tools at the beginning, then I think that's great.
Well, and you talk about those tools, and I don't think a lot of agents really know that they're there. So I do know that there's this awesome regional tech trainer out in the West somewhere in this mountain time zone. It's this weird, weird time zone that everybody forgets about. And she does smart plans in this newsletter and everything for us. So that is there. If you are looking for this stuff, you can look it up by Kimber's name.
Yeah. And the emails, just to point it out. So if you look up author name Kimber Walton, scroll to the bottom because the newest content is at the bottom. Every month. So again, every month for the last 2 years, I've been posting I post the local one because hashtag Team Utah 801, the 801, and I post NAR.
Mm-hmm.
So again, for those that have been around a while, remember the e-edge days where they had a market update. That's that. And I have posted it every month for 2 years. So that is available. And then right above it, it'll say 36 touch. I basically just created a new one to put the emails in one because Smart Plans got an update. So now you can have 12 emails in one Smart Plan. So I have that. And you can just go and use those. The nice thing about it is, I'll just tell you guys really quick, I put the thought process into the fact that I want it to be not specific to an area, obviously. It's nice of me to create value for all of Keller Williams when it just applies to Utah, right? That's as helpful. So it's outside of the scope of hyperlocal, but it's real estate specific. And we publish one every 9 months. So it's very, it's current, right? It's not like I published one and it's there from 2 years ago.
Right.
The old stuff is still on there, but I would suggest not downloading those because it definitely has gotten better. And then I'm even picky about imagery. So I'm not going to throw in as much as Peter and Brett love palm trees. I live in Utah. So when I land at the airport, I take pictures of palm trees. Palm trees are a commodity to me.
Right.
I take pictures of palm trees and fireflies. And so so I'm not going to have imagery that has something that looks like, oh, it's a specific area. The good thing about that too is you can use it for your sphere, but also you can use it when you have out of state relatives that you're still marketing to as real estate agents. because you can still get paid referrals in that group. You can still use that content outside of your current state. So kind of covers all the bases for that.
Well, and just like the NAR newsletter, the market update that you provide, you just take you take your own stats from, you know, your like for us, we get one every month from our MLS. You just take those stats and just replace them. So
we put in a new the new email editor is easier to update. So previously I wouldn't say this because we were having to do it all HTML. But our new email editor is pretty solid with commands. So you can just go, you have your awesome Canva graphic for your local area. Like you can just go switch it out. Cool.
We do have a question. And I know this is a question that you have probably heard a million times.
Yeah.
And so it's something that comes up with your smart plans, right?
Yeah.
Why are your smart plans broken into many different plans and not just one smart plan? And I know the answer, but I'm going to let the source explain that.
Cool. Okay, so that's why when you search Kimber Walton now and you scroll to the bottom, I believe it's just called 36 Touch now. It's all in one email. So I will just give you a little history. Our smart plans used to be built out where there was a 5 design limitation per smart plan. That provides 5 months worth of leverage, not 9. And again, you're going to ask, why 9? You cannot link more than 4 smart plans together and publish them. You can only publish 3.
Right. So they were all limitations of what we had at the time with Command. That's why.
Yeah. And awesome. It's gotten better. So there's no design amount limitation anymore. So truly, like the next series, like we can be putting out content at 12 months at a time. I would say 12 would where I would stop though with the autopilot because things change so much. So honestly, I kind of created this narrative because it was what we had to deal with, and I'm kind of on board with it now. Checking in 9 months is solid sound advice as far as maybe things have changed where you don't want to leverage that out too much. And I love being able to automate as much as possible when it comes to the marketing side of business, because the more time you have to be in front of people, prospecting is the biggest thing that's going to contribute to your ROI.
Yep, absolutely.
And your GCI. There's some acronyms for you. Okay, so we just have a few more slides, and then we can kind of just all chat as a group for a minute. But if you don't have stories, this is what I would suggest. Find your relatable content. I got this from another content creator, and I thought this was so awesome. Just listing out a few different ideas where, again, you're educating people and you're not having that scarcity mindset. But again, the difference is you could have your lender say, market update from lender Joe, or you could talk about specifically loan approval tips for my self-employed people or first-time home buyers. And if you guys are running a strong database, you most likely have a tag for your first-time home buyer group. That is a way you can go quickly filter by a tag and then market to that accordingly. That's honestly why I create tags.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love even in that graphic where you said Airbnbs that you might enjoy on your next travel or whatever. There's a whole bunch of people that still have not been introduced to Airbnb and Vrbo, and that's my preferred way to stay if I can find it, especially with 2 dogs I have to travel with. These are all those important things that you're talking about coming from contribution and providing really useful content to people.
Yep. So everyone says they're a content creator, right?
Yep.
I think it's in my bio. I'm like, content creator. I create content. I love one of our fellow agents at KW, Ben Kinney. I think his bio and Facebook says something like, I am the only person that is not a real estate investor, content creator, Bitcoin. Like And it's so funny because he has such an awesome like reputation and resume.
Yeah.
But now that we're all content creators, not all of us can be curators. So curating is what is going to set you apart from your database. And I would tell you personally, the number one poster child for just absolutely killing it at curation is Brady Sandall, who's the luxury division leader. There is something about curating a message to a specific person based on what they like, what they're interested in, and obviously because we sell real estate, what areas they're interested in. Curating that message to reach a person, that's how your conversion, your email list starts to become this super valuable, honestly, asset at this point. I think somebody like Amy Porterfield that we heard from at the beginning of this session, she is somebody that her email list is probably an asset to her. Is your email list an asset to you right now? If it isn't, why? Well, because I have 5 emails. Okay, great. Now at least we know where we are, and then we can work on it.
Well, it's definitely an asset to your business if you know, because there's so many agents that don't think about the legacy and everything, or just haven't thought that big about it, right? Not trying to be hard on anybody here, but your business is something you can sell. And if you have a ginormous email list like that you've been working with, that's a huge asset to the company that you're trying.
I'm sorry, I'm skipping over stuff, but we're just short on time.
You're a special guest. We can go as long as we need to.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the deal. Here's 3 keys to content, because we're all content creators, right?
That's right.
Make it simple, make it enjoyable, make it repeatable. If it's not all 3 of those things, do not do it.
I want those marshmallow chairs.
Right? Oh, I love a good, just like modern, contemporary chef's kiss. So that's the rule. Honestly, if you follow that rule, you'll engage people. It will be simple. Simple means someone will be able to like retain it. They get what you mean. Right? They're going to listen. And it's repeatable. I'll just speak for myself, but I know I'm talking to one of you. I've seen a lot of people, you just hit the ground running. You were like, I am the TikTok market update Tuesday lady. And you're just like, every Tuesday, here's my market update and a market update, a market update. And then I'm like, weird, I haven't seen market updates from TikTok Tuesdays recently. Why? Because it probably wasn't repeatable.
Right.
It was all you. It was you had to move like 5 appointments, and you're just like, you didn't start with why. And so now you've burned out on that. And the thing is, most people, it's going to be the Kimbers of the world that notice, hey, you burned out on that idea. And sometimes you can just stop doing something that doesn't make more sense. But if you think about what the end game is with something, then you'll know, okay, is this repeatable? Because if I'm going to truly get a result from this, I have to be able to do it every other week for the next 2 years to even see what the return on it was.
Right.
And that could go with not just email, with prospecting, with events, with maybe you go to a networking event that you pay $1,200 for every single year, right? I hear that constantly from people that attend Mega Camp and Family Reunion. The ROI is there, so they never miss it, because the amount of business they get from networking for 2 days, it always pays for the event. So having that thought process of doing it long enough to actually see the result, then you're gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And this industry is the best industry to be in the entire world. And more people, I look at my office's top downs, and our top 20% is making more than probably all the executives
that
are at these big corporations, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 300,000 salary isn't like a very common salary for just anybody, right?
No. Yeah.
And that is, sometimes I think that can be a conservative GCI when you're talking about the top 20%. So I like to use those. I let those things simmer in my head when I go, this is too hard. Because if we're just doing the fundamentals, it's not really that hard, right?
It's not.
That's simple, not easy.
It's not, and you can work a lot harder in other not that we don't do hard work as agents, because we do. It's very hard work.
Yeah.
But we also get rewarded accordingly as well.
Yeah. Peter, what questions do you have or comments?
So I've been experimenting in the background, taking some of your ideas, and I just sent out 4,500 emails on a batch email. And I chose the topic of the commission changes and how it can benefit buyers and sellers. And we've got a free guide for them. Please respond with yes to this email if you'd like to receive the guide. So I'm sending it to past sort of stale old leads that we got from Facebook in the past. So if anybody's interested, in what's going on in August, mid-August, they can get a guide from us. And I've already had 50 or 60 of them open so far. And they're just literally going out right now. So yeah, email marketing is very valid, extremely powerful. The way that you do it is great. The content ideas that you've got are awesome because they're mainly free, right? So that's the key part to it. But I liked I don't know who the lady was in the video that you played. I really liked the way she said that, you're renting space on the other platforms because you just don't know who they're going to show your post or even add to unless you're using like a custom audience. And even then you don't really know. So at least we know who we're contacting and why. And it's a lot closer communication because you can address them by name. It's not just, hey, we've got this. It's like, hi, Helen, John, David, whatever. This is for you. This is what we've got. And then you're looking for that response, right? So the conversion comes from the response. So it's like, and I can't show you online really easy, but I just want to give you some idea about open rates that we've been getting. So one of our agents sent out an email about a price reduction on a listing, and she had 47% open rate. Another one did an open house, got 87% open rate. Another one did another price reduction, 87% open rate. Really high engagement.
I mean, with Mets, if I'm over 50, I'm like, what did I do? Like, I'm almost weirded out that it's that high.
Yeah, well, these are not Mets.
It's usually, yeah, and that's insane. Because not Mets, I think I'm happy if it's over 15.
Yeah. So what we found through experimentation is the subject line.
Well, it's like any call to action, right? You've got a second to capture their attention, and it better be enticing. So,
and I'll share what it is. We are down to 5 words maximum in the subject line, and really, really, like you can read it in a millisecond. So it just says home of the week, reduce 54,000.
What does that say about our attention spans?
She got 87% open rate.
That's awesome.
Home of the week, 57,000. Like, in other words, this is the best listing we've got, and look, we just dropped the price by a ton.
Right.
And I am contractually obligated to mention my college education every now and then because I have to show that it's worth something. What you just said is literally how we learn in journalism, like the importance of the headline. You can say those like extra little meaty things that you usually want to put in the subject line. You can put that in the first 2 sentences. Like, this is like AP style. And that headline is everything. And this was prior to like even now how important clickbait like titles are for views. So what you just said is like, I mean, that's probably the number one way you glow up your email, right?
Yeah.
Make it simple so that people read it.
Same philosophy for YouTube as well.
Yeah.
What's
the
the
thing we've
title
done
of your video? And then if you need to expand for greater detail, that goes in the first couple of sentences of the description.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we've done for the market center is, because obviously this is Labs Advisor Call MCTTs, we've built a database for the market center, and we've got over 400,000 names, phone numbers, emails, addresses in our database. We've been doing it years. I mean, I've been doing it for years and years and years. And now we've got this massive 400,000 database. If we want to convince someone to list with us, we just show them it and say, look, we're going to send an email to every one of these people that you just listed your house with us. 400,000 people who are interested in our market, in our area, are going to get a notification about your home, the open house, the price changes you may have, and the fact that you just listed it. That it's massive power. And I'm not saying it's free, because there's a cost to sending large bulk emails. We use SendGrid. So it's only $29 a month. It's not, I think it's $34.95 now. And we can send 100,000 at a time. And these are opted in emails. They're not, lists that you buy. It's just, we've done it for so long, like it was old school, and it's come back round again now, because like the big deal that's going to happen in the next few weeks, which is what's the buzz in the industry, is Apple and Google are going to kill the cookie. So we're not going to know what's going on with these ads, whether people are opening them, looking at them, reading them, clicking on them, not the emails, the ads, right? So Google are going to have a one-click opt-out to all cookies on the Chrome browser. That's going to kill Facebook ads, like dead, finished.
So we'll only have to clear our cache now? We won't have to clear cookies too?
So, well, the
Pivot.
there is privacy concerns, because it's basically spying on your activity, right? Because it sends back to Meta what you've been on elsewhere, not just the site that you received on the ad. It then says, did you go from there to go look at shoes, or did you go, well, in your case, road equipment? So did it take you to microphones? And, so then you get an ad for a microphone, and you're wondering, why am I getting that? Well, it's because the previous ad that you clicked on that's got nothing to do with microphones is sending a signal back to Meta, right? Yeah. So Google, being obviously not very friends with Meta and its advertising platform, Apple already did it. Apple delayed the reply by 7 days. So now they don't know for 7 days, so they might as well not know. And Google are about to do the same thing. So we're going to be back full circle, back to email marketing.
Yep.
Was that?
Yeah, no, I think everything that you just said is so valuable, and it shows an example. I know Amy brought up that, hey, like social media went down and I had to do this. Social media going down is why her business pivoted, because then she realized, oh, I need to prioritize email. What Peter just said, is another example where we are going to start to realize, wow, that lead funnel, it felt like it just like shut off, like the water just turned off. And I am having these conversations a lot with agents. One of my top agents had a conversation with me yesterday, and she asked, why do you think everybody, I mean, obviously our top producers, like, they're still doing it. I'm impressed at how much they're doing right now, considering what's going on in the market. And I would say they're telling me they're down like 30%. Some of them are down like 40. And she's like, why do you think that is? And I said, well, obviously I can only go off of the conversations that I'm having, and all of my top agents that are coming to meet with me for help or anything regarding marketing. The theme is clear. I've been ignoring my SOI. We got enough referrals in that hot 2020, 2021 market. We didn't really realize that there was a big gaping hole in our sphere. And they also had a little bit more compelling reason to move. It was the market that compelled them. It wasn't the relationship. And so really everybody that I'm helping is like, hey, this list, these people, this database that I've brought with me for the last 10 years, I haven't really been in relationship with them. while the market's been good, which by the way has been the last like 8 years. It's almost a decade.
Yeah.
When you don't talk to someone for a decade, that's called someone you used to go to high school with, and you're like, what is their name?
Well, not in my case.
Some of us, it's been a lot longer than a decade. Kimber.
Okay, I am hitting my 20-year reunion next year. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about the young people later.
We're just gonna wait and meet in heaven.
That's your reunion.
Yeah.
Peter be standing at the pearly gates going, I can't believe you're here. I thought you were going somewhere else.
Someone got on and was like, was this about email? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Sphere of influence is, let's face it. I mean, we're all getting our heads around how we're going to communicate, how we're going to offer value, how we're going to let people know what incentive a seller is trying to put into the market right now. Well, you know what the answer to all of it is? Email, right? We've lost it in the MLS. So take it from the MLS, put it in your emails, send it out to your sphere, communication. So the answer's there. And the really good thing about Command is the deliverability of our emails. Because when I use other CRMs, right, they don't go out as well. They get blocked. They get spam blocked. They get reported. Not with the KW ones. They seem to deliver really well. But one big tip is not avoid, but try not to send too many to AOL email addresses, because they're the ones who'll mark you spam with the click of a button. And it's a real spam block mark. And if you get over, I think it's 0.01% marked as spam, you're going to have to take a test to get back onto the KW Command email platform. You got to do a little test. And if it happens a couple of times, you could lose the privilege. So what I'm doing is cleaning the lists up, taking the AOL people out, and think about how, I've even got an old AOL account that I could send them emails from, right? Which would be a lot easier. So,
and just to make sure that we have done our duty and relayed this message, all of this is in a TCPA compliant way.
Yes.
Like you said that you had done the opt-in, right? You made sure that your email list was all opted in and everything. So I want to make sure that we do stress that important aspect of it, because you do have to make, don't go buying lists and things like that.
I can give this spiel in less than 60 seconds. So you have 3 levels of a database. You have essential, you have effective, and you have exceptional. Essential is your name, address, email, phone number. Obviously, that is the number one thing in order to effectively market to somebody. Once you get to the next tier of effective database, the first item on that is obtain permission. That name, address, email, and phone number means nothing if you don't have permission to communicate with them. Obviously, TCPA is a big law that we do not want to mess with. And if we're looking at the airy-fairy non-law side of it, do you want to be communicating? Do you want to be communicated with someone that hasn't done the work to establish the relationship, right? So if you meet someone face-to-face with open house and you have them go sign up for your email list, even on our open house landing pages, there is a nice checkbox that they obtain permission. Make sure your email capture form that you put on your site or however you do it has a little spot of them opting in. Save yourself.
Right.
That was probably more than 60 seconds, but
no, you were right on the money. That was perfect.
Okay. So
was there anything else in your slides that you wanted to hit real quick?
No, I just want to summarize. Honestly, our Command email editor, we all 3 of us, we just think so highly of a lot of our product managers that are behind the scenes that no agent will ever see or meet.
Right.
And the Command email editor, I would personally endorse that. Obviously for a long time, based on Kimber, why do you have 3-4 smart plans linked together? Kimber, why are the email HTMLs all imported? I definitely was team workaround for a while. Our email editor is a solid way to send emails. All of this stuff that we're telling you, even down to the fact Peter said, personalizing an email is such a big thing to connect with somebody. And you can literally put on the email, dear, contact first name with merge field. And it just allows you to add the personalization to it. So lean into, if you're starting emails, go look at Command Email Editor. If you are currently paying $100 a month for MailChimp,
right,
maybe look into, have your assistant that's already running the play, have them go put your content in Command next month, and you'll realize it's very interchangeable, and maybe that's $100 you can save a month.
Absolutely. And we've got great metrics behind them. We get 5,000 emails for every single account, right? So the functionality is there. The metrics are the important thing, because if you're just sending all these emails out, you're not paying attention to who's opening and clicking, and none of it matters. And then Kimber's whole discussion of ROI doesn't matter. You're just mindlessly doing things. So you need to inspect what you expect and make sure that you're checking those metrics. And yeah, you get metrics with MailChimp and Constant Contact and all of that stuff. But like Kimber said, most of that stuff, if not all of it, can be done now in Command Mail with the new email editor, and it's so drastically improved. And being able to add as many as you want in the smart plans now and everything, and not being able to, because I'll be honest with you, I know you put a lot of work into that stuff, and I could never figure out how to connect them all.
I'd like to be able to add more than 100 at a time to the email list, though.
Yeah,
that's kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a great team that listens to us, and all those things have been getting improved. So definitely want to give props to the tech team that's behind all this stuff, because they do listen to us. Some of us have had the amazing privilege of, like, serving on a live lab, even when it comes to agents at family reunion, being in the fishbowl and being able to be on a live lab where they get to talk to the tech team directly. Like, it's awesome, the relationship that we have, and we really appreciate it. Cool. Well, Kimber, thank you so much for being here and glowing us up and dropping that knowledge on us. We appreciate it.
So listen, just for this old guy, what's all this glow up business? I mean, what's that all about?
I just thought she stole it from Canva, because that's what they called their new UI.
Okay, so not that Canva copied me. Just kidding. It's definitely around, but we had locally in Utah, we have like a series every quarter, and our first quarter was a glow up series. And so when I saw Canva's glow up thing come after, I was like, oh, they copied me. It's basically just it's probably like a Gen Z thing, and I'm in that middle, like trying to be young, and I need to just like pretend, like I need to just stop. I need to give up. But glow up is like taking something that's probably fine and like just like shining a little bit. It's like your car that has kind of the rain residue from the night before. Like, you take that outside for an hour and like wax it and stuff, like that car is a glow up.
I'm gonna glow up my ride.
For us old farts, it's like bedazzled, right?
Oh no, not even Gen X.
With the jeans on the jeans. If you bedazzle your jeans. No, we don't want to do that.
Brett used to have one of those little guns. He got it off QVC one night at 4 a.m. in the morning when he was watching his infomercials, which is what he always did in the 90s. You bought a bedazzle kit, didn't you? And then he put it on your denim jacket.
I probably did. I can't tell you how many dolls found their way into our house growing up as a kid, because my mom was watching porcelain dolls at all hours of the night.
So the lesson is, don't stay in one place. He's out. Don't stay in one place. Pivot, because we used to sell CDs on TV at night. Yeah. If we were still doing that, it'd be embarrassing.
HSN and QVC, and HSN's headquartered right here by me.
I like how Peter just left. He was like, I am done at the bedazzled jeans. At the bedazzled jeans, I have had it.
Scare you? Did we scare you? Is that what you
wasn't offended? I just suddenly vanished.
The whole program. StreamYard's being a little funky today, but anyway.
Bedazzled. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. So, I've really enjoyed this, Kimber. It's good info, good stuff. You definitely have to come back because we're trying to build this Labs Advisor podcast. We're doing it every 2 weeks. And, we're getting a little bit of engagement. You posted and shared it in those Facebook groups, and I saw that I got a lot of traction, which was great. So, yeah, it's definitely...
well, and Kimber's an OG. She's always welcome. If it wasn't for her and the rest of the leadership, Peter and I wouldn't have this opportunity. So
I didn't just tell you Kimberly then, did I? By accident.
I didn't hear
it. No, because I would have stopped you.
No,
dude, I've called
I
her.
only have two. Before. The only thing worse than Kimberly is Kim. I will actually somewhat identify with Kimberly because my middle name is Lee. But Kim, like, I black out and I don't hear anything you say after that.
My daughter's middle name is Lee.
Yeah, Lee.
Lee.
So, we got to be different in Utah. We can't spell it correctly.
How do you spell the Lee?
Leigh.
That's exactly the same as my daughter. Leigh. I swear.
So is my middle name British?
Well, Walton, probably. The Lee bit, I don't know. I'd have to ask my wife because she chose Leigh. And I don't know why, because the other way of spelling it is a male name, Lee. Yeah, and then the other way is Lea, which is the girl Lee, Lea.
And people go Leah, they add things.
Princess Leia. That would be with an H, wouldn't it? Is that how
not always. Sometimes they don't use the H and it's Lea.
So what's the other?
My entire life, it's like spotting a Kimber is spotting a unicorn. However, at Keller Williams, somehow I happen to be the second Kimber. I can't just be Kimber. It's like the second. We were talking about the real cool Kimber with the Y.
You didn't get
Kimber. So I'm the second tier Kimber. It's fine.
It's all good. There's only one Brett though. Although I did see another Bishop.
There's another Brett Bishop in the system. He's out in Arizona or something like that.
Yeah.
His middle initial is different. Otherwise, everything's spelled the same. Yep.
It's all good.
Crazy.
There's only one Kimber with an I.
Yay!
Yay!
I just know I missed Smart Plans. I don't know if she likes that or not, but
right. So let's just do a quick check of my batch email. I have had 70 open so far.
Sorry, buddy. How many?
70.
Nice.
That's 70 customers I would not have contacted today if it had not been for
that. Compounded over time is the takeaway.
Kimber, I have this guy's personal information if you would like to retaliate.
Oh my gosh.
David.
He's a troublemaker.
God, I don't know. Kimber doesn't seem, I know it's a last name.
Hey,
I saw on a headphone once and it was kind of creepy, but it's someone's last
just remember that if he ever reaches out for help with Smart Plans, okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, what breed was Kimber? Hopefully a Maltese. Like a high maintenance. It's a high maintenance breed.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah.
Really
an awesome show.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here, and we will see everybody in 2 weeks. And that's a wrap. Kimber, thank you so much. Peter, always a pleasure. And we are out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.